Welcome to the Fearless Health Podcast with host Dr. Anne-Marie Barter.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Fearless Health YouTube channel. We are really excited to have you. And please remember to subscribe below and say hello, or also leave a topic that you want to hear in the comments. And we are going to do our very best to get to it and to cover that topic on the YouTube channel right here. Also, if you are driving in the car, we try to make this convenient for you. So our podcasts can all be found on either iTunes or Stitcher under Fearless Health Podcast. Without further ado, let's get into it today, and we are so excited to have you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here today on the Fearless Health Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Anne-Marie Barter, and we are so grateful that you're here with us today. If you want to see this episode actually, live and on video, please head on over to the YouTube, hit subscribe, tell us what you want to hear more of. We want to give you more of those things, and always make sure to say hello. We want to hear from you. If you're listening on iTunes, please give us a 5-star review. We love that. We thrive off of that. So thank you so much for doing that. So today I have a very, very special guest. Her name is Corinne, and she is my acupuncturist. And I am very excited to talk about this topic because most people don't know about it, and it is cosmetic acupuncture. So before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about her background. She has a private acupuncture practice in Denver. We're actually in the same office. She came to traditional Chinese medicine after a long search for a fulfilling career in the healthcare world. She always knew that she wanted to be a healer, but one who looks at the entire individual as a whole, not just a collection of symptoms that need to be treated. She trained at the Southwest Acupuncture College in Boulder, Colorado, and she is recognized by the National Certification Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine as a certified acupuncturist. She incorporates all sorts of different modalities in TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine, including needling, cupping, gua sha, shiatsu, tuina, moxa, nutritional counseling, electric stimulation, and Chinese herbal therapies. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Really excited to have you.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So let's dive into it because I love this technique. You've done this on me. I have gone through the 10 series of the facial acupuncture, the acupuncture facelift. So first off, what is it?
So cosmetic acupuncture is just acupuncture that is performed either on the face, neck, or abdomen to improve the overall appearance and feel of the skin. So the style that I learned is called Mei Zen, which actually translates to beautiful person, which I love. And Mei Zen cosmetic acupuncture focuses on using your own body's chi or energy and blood to get results. So what we're doing is actually working with your own innate ability to improve what you already have. So through needling on the face and diet recommendations and herbal therapies if needed, we can really kind of turn a situation around. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
So how many needles do you need to put in the face to see results?
So there's a base part of the protocol, which is, around 70 or so needles in the face, but each individual is treated differently and according to what they need at that time of treatment. So say someone comes in and they want to do the facial protocol, but they also have an underlying condition, maybe a deficiency or an excess, I'm going to treat that as well. So depending on what I see will change the number of needles that I need. But the base part of the protocol is always the same. And that is, like I said, 70, 80 plus needles in the face.
It's cool. It sounds daunting, but it's really not. So you guys have your own language in traditional Chinese medicine. Okay. So we talk about, when you're talking about a deficiency or an excess, what does that mean in layman's terms?
Yeah, so really you can kind of just break it down to what someone's come in with the door. So say somebody has a poor digestion and they're lethargic, their limbs feel heavy, maybe they just feel bloated and get gassy. A lot of times for us that looks more like a spleen qi deficiency versus somebody who say like drinks a lot of alcohol, they eat a lot of really hot spicy foods, maybe they get reflux, have GERD or something like that. That person is going to be more excess. So you can kind of see this in different people, and it makes sense when you see a person and you look at their constitution, but really, it's either someone has too much of something or not enough of something, and that's kind of the root or the base of that. So when we're diagnosing somebody, we're always looking if it's deficiency or excess. Is there heat or cold? Is there an issue with the yin or yang of the body, which, we could have a whole podcast just on yin and yang. Or is it internal or external? So internal being like an internal condition, external meaning something like you got sick from a virus and now it's from the outside coming in. So those are kind of like the basic things that we use to come up with the diagnosis.
And so when you're needling, you're correcting either that excess or that deficiency, correct?
Exactly. Yes, we're looking at the person's constitution, and we have to address that in order to see results with the face. Because if somebody has sallow, sagging skin, it's going to be a very different treatment than somebody who's got hot inflammation, redness, that sort of a thing, acne, so it really isn't just a one treatment fits all. You really have to tailor it to the individual and what their needs are and what they're coming in with.
Yeah, and I get so many questions day in and day out because I needle, but I do not do acupuncture. I do a technique called dry needling. And so I get asked day in and day out if I'm doing acupuncture or can you perform acupuncture on me? And I have to be very clear that I'm doing dry needling. I am addressing the muscle. I am not addressing these points, and I'm not performing the diagnostic system. So I think that that's a really common misconception that I hear a lot of the time. And so I think your point about the deficiency and the excess really kind of leads back into, the entire acupuncture diagnostic system, which I think is so powerful. I love acupuncture.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for everything. Sometimes you really do just need to get a muscle to relax, but when we're dealing with the face and, just Chinese medicine in general, we're always looking at the whole picture, the whole person. And I've benefited from dry needling myself. So I know that there's a time and a place for both modalities. And it's great that we can treat side by side and do those things together. So.
Totally. So, all right. So you have someone that comes in and they really want to look differently. They feel like their skin is sagging. They have eye wrinkles. That is me, eye wrinkles. And you want to address that. And so does this replace, in your opinion, does this replace the need for injections, or can you see benefits on the face, that people would assume that they could only get injections to benefit from?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot, and I do believe that facial acupuncture, cosmetic acupuncture, can be a replacement for injections. That being said, they are very different. After going to get Botox or something like that, you're going to come out of that looking very different versus one treatment of acupuncture on the face is going to look, it's a mild, subtle change over time. So what we're doing is we're actually changing the collagen matrix underneath the skin, and we're making real changes that take time. So for someone who wants like a quick fix, like acupuncture is not it. And you could kind of have guessed that, but it's a slower process, and I think it's a great alternative for people who want a natural approach, something that's safe. You're not putting anything, you're not injecting anything into the skin. It's just the needles. So in my personal opinion, I think it's a great alternative. It just takes a little longer.
Hmm. And how long do the results last from doing cosmetic acupuncture?
Yeah, so it really kind of depends on a person-to-person basis, just like everything with acupuncture. So if someone comes in and they have a great skincare regime, they're always cleansing, moisturizing, and eating well, and they just take care of their skin, they wear sunscreen, the results are going to last a lot longer than, say, somebody who's a smoker or somebody who drinks a lot of alcohol or doesn't eat very well and doesn't moisturize, especially in a dry climate like here in Colorado. So typically, though, I will say that after the protocol is finished and you get your maintenance treatments monthly, the results should last about 2 years, a little bit longer. Like I said, for people who are doing a good job and kind of adhering to that program, and then a little less for people who maybe forget or can't come in for their maintenance treatments, or perhaps somebody who's a little on the older side might not last as long.
And what would you consider older? What's the kind of age range where you really need a little more maintenance?
Experience, like 50, 60. We like, if you're younger, like in your 20s or 30s, like they say, 3 years. But if you're a little bit older, like 60 plus, it's going to be more like 1 or 2 years. It just really depends on the person's skin type and, how they're treating their skin.
And from the get-go, initially, like, I know results may vary, but how many treatments does it take to start to see some improvement with this?
So with the people that I've worked with, usually after about 6 treatments, people have, woken up and looked in the mirror and been like, oh, I feel different. I actually see something different. But that's going to be different for everybody. I don't think I've had one person who's after 1 treatment said, oh, I felt dramatically different. So it's really going to be towards the end of the protocol, which is a 10 treatment protocol, that you're going to start to notice things are a little bit more visible.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
And are you, I think it's a very, very gradual change, but it's cool. It's really neat. Are you noticing, we're talking about wrinkles and, improved collagen to the skin, but, you're addressing other things. All of these points in the face are related to a meridian, and you're adjusting things in the body as well. So are you seeing changes to the skin tone, like redness or, skin issues with maybe old scarring or some of those things? Can you speak to some of that?
Yeah, definitely. So not only are you going to have improved elasticity and texture of the skin, but it will increase circulation to the skin. So when you have better perfusion, you have a more even skin tone. So where someone might have had a lot of blotchiness or redness, you're going to see much more evenness and less, like, especially a lot of people get red around the cheeks and the nose. Like, I've seen that clear up on a lot of people. If you have acne, it can be great for reducing acne of all kinds, cystic or even just, like teenagers. It's great for things like that. So, I mean, it's definitely going to help with fine lines. It can also help with leveling out some of those deeper lines. Like I have my little frown line here. So, I've been working on, but another thing people also report is like the jowl area. It really helps kind of lift that. There's a separate protocol you can do specifically for the neck. So a lot of people like to do that one after they've done the facial protocol, just to kind of really help with that area as well. So it's pretty amazing overall, the results that you can see and feel. A lot of people just say that they have a healthier glow, they look younger, their skin feels healthier, pores kind of shrink, everything just feels a little tighter and lifted, and yeah, it's pretty great.
It's really neat. And with the needles that you're doing, I mean, some of the needles are very close to the nose or around the nose. Some of the needles are around the TMJ. Some of the needles are around the ears, etc. So are you also noticing improvement with, for example, sinus issues or TMJ or jaw clenching. Can you speak to some of those?
Yeah, it's actually amazing. I have a lot of people who are like, oh wow, like I used to have migraines and my migraines are, not coming as frequently, or I haven't had one at all. A lot of people have said, yeah, exactly, like less sinus congestion, less, if they have like red eyes from allergies, they've noticed that kind of clear up. So because we are working with the whole body and your constitution, and not just areas on the face, people are reporting amazing things like increased energy, like sleep is better, digestion is better, anxiety and depression are down. It's kind of all over the board, the results that we can see, especially because we're not just doing the face, we're doing a whole body treatment. So everything from digestion to autoimmune stuff, people have said is actually improved with just getting the cosmetic acupuncture. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you have you're doing this 10 treatment series, is there any downtime after you're doing this procedure?
There's no downtime at all. I mean, it's pretty novel. I mean, you can come in, have a treatment, and you actually walk out like looking better than you came in. So a lot of people love that. They're like, oh, I can actually go out to dinner after I have my facial acupuncture. I can, look good when I come home, and they don't have to worry about hiding out for a couple of weeks or longer, depending on, if you got some kind of surgical procedure. So no downtime at all. I mean, there is a possibility of bruising, which happens occasionally. That's just a risk you run with any kind of acupuncture. So that's just a possible side effect that we do see more commonly. But one thing that we do is actually you can put arnica on the face beforehand and after the treatment, and that really helps minimize any bruising or side effects of bruising that you might have if that should occur during your treatment.
Mm-hmm. And how is this different than microneedling?
So this MSOM cosmetic acupuncture is a very specific protocol. So each time you're needling the same points on the face, and they're about like this big, about ½ inch, and they're just going into the dermis of the skin. And so they're actually going into acupuncture points on the face. They're not following wrinkle lines, and they're not following like a lot of you'll hear different cosmetic acupuncture systems. They're like, oh yes, you like roll up the skin and then you pin it with a needle, or you like go into the wrinkle and you needle it a certain way. So it's just very different from any of those other styles, because it's a protocol that was designed specifically for cosmetic reasons, and it's just its own thing. So in that sense, it just differs from all the other ones.
Okay, that makes sense. And so the side effects, you could get a little bit of bruising, but really no other additional side effects from it. No downtime, which is really, really nice. So that's a huge benefit.
Yeah, I mean, there have been occasional side effects that you hear about during training, but nothing that I've ever experienced in my practice, or nothing that I've ever heard about from colleagues of mine. They do say that potentially you could have an infection at the site of a needle insertion, but the needles are sterile. Your skin is cleaned before the procedure. So, I mean, it's almost impossible for that to happen. But that's like a risk that we always have to tell somebody about. There are lots of nerves in the face. So they'd say that you could potentially nick a nerve, but again, these needles are so tiny and they're just going into the dermal layer of the skin. It would have to be, it doesn't happen. But
so, I mean, I almost think that that's like not true, because at the end of the day, I remember I've seen people that have gotten facelifts, and in the facelift, they have nicked a cutaneous nerve, not a motor nerve, but a cutaneous superficial nerve. And actually what helps to grow that back together is doing needling on the face along that nerve line to actually create feeling. And I've seen folks that were completely numb in their trigeminal nerve, which is in the lower part by your jaw, where they were numb from pretty much their ear all the way to their lips, and doing sessions of, in this case it was dry needling to get it to run the nerve to run back through. That actually brought back feeling when nothing else would. And I've seen that time and time again. So, I mean, I almost think it's the opposite, in my opinion.
I mean, I would agree, but that's just, when we have a consent form, these are all the like possible things. So you have to tell people about those just so that they understand. But yeah, like really bruising is like the main thing that you have to worry about.
Yeah, I think that's really the main thing. So, I mean, I really think it's wonderful. Have you seen any changes? I know there's a couple points on the ear, and I know that you're not specifically doing this therapy, but have you seen any changes with addiction or any sort of feedback with that, since you are doing a few of those points?
So there is a whole system of acupuncture that deals with needling the ear, auriculotherapy, and you can definitely address things like addiction or trauma and things like that. If that was something that the person came in for and wanted to address with the protocol, then that was something that we could do. But just normal protocol, we don't actually needle in the ear, it's just like in front of the ear. So those points specifically aren't directed towards that, but you certainly could have results that help somebody deal with those issues if that's what they were coming in for.
All right, so who is a good candidate for facial acupuncture?
Yeah, so most people are going to be a good candidate for this. Anybody who wants to have younger, healthier, more vibrant skin, that this is something that they want to work on, they want to take care of, like they have a good skincare regime, or maybe they don't, but they want to learn how to do it. This is great for those people. People with aging skin, so if you have sun or like liver spots, sun damage, this is a great option for people who are aging. This is also great for people with acne. Like I said before, this is just something that you can do that really helps reverse that. And oftentimes with the acne patients, I am going to recommend herbal therapies as well as kind of the normal diet and lifestyle stuff that I always coach people on. This is great if you have a big event coming up, like a wedding or, I know that's a little bit different right now with COVID and everything, but, still, if you have a big photo shoot or something and you just want to have your best face forward, this is a great thing for you. And, I mean, like I was saying, it's great for most people. The people who we kind of say that it's not best for, if you're not a good candidate, are going to be heavy smokers, just because smoke really does damage the skin, and there's only so much that cosmetic acupuncture can do for you. So unless you really want to give up smoking or have decided to quit, if you're just going to continue to smoking, you're not going to get optimal results, and it might just sort of be wasted on you. And same goes for heavy alcohol users. So alcohol turns to sugar, and sugar sags the skin. So again, same kind of thing. If that's not something that you're really willing to give up, you're just not going to have optimal results. So you could still do it, but it's just not going to be as satisfactory for you, I think. Also, they say people with excessive sun damage. So I've seen some people here in Colorado whose skin just looks real leathery, and they're advanced age, and the skin is almost thin and paper-like, and needling into that tissue can those people are just more sensitive, and again, you're just not going to have optimal results there. Also, pregnant women, it's not contraindicated, but we want all the chi and energy to go to the uterus when you're pregnant. the belly, not the face. So anything that pulls away, we just don't recommend. So if someone is trying to get pregnant or is pregnant, I'll usually say let's hold off on the facial acupuncture until after. Although the protocol that we do on the abdomen can actually really help people with fertility, which is cool. So if that's something that you're struggling with, you can always do the abdomen on someone who's trying to conceive. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I do want you to say again about alcohol, that alcohol sags the skin because it turns to sugar, because I don't know if some people have heard it in the back.
Oh, yeah. So just heavy alcohol abuse. I'm sure people know what like a hangover feels like. It's just toxic for your body. And when it turns to sugar, and sugar just has that effect on the skin. In Chinese medicine, sugar sweet, that flavor is actually tonifying, but too much of it can cause dampness. And the damp things are heavy. They kind of sink and sag and droop. So especially if someone who comes in has sort of a more damp constitution, especially, I'm going to recommend that person not drink alcohol or eat sugar. So yeah,
very important. Very, very important.
Yeah, diet is so key to good skin. It's a lot of doctors are like, oh, eat whatever you want, just take this and your skin will be fine. No.
No, not even close. And I do like, I think a really important point that you brought up was that it does help with darkening or aging spots or dark liver spots. I think that that's a really helpful point. So it's just really helping with most skin issues, it sounds like, across the board.
Yeah, I mean, just puffy, dark stuff around the eyes. In Chinese medicine, dark circles around the eyes is usually related to the kidney. And so if someone comes in with that, I'm going to really recommend that we work on strengthening their kidney energy. And that's really different than, Western medicine. It's not saying, oh, if you went and got your kidneys checked, like they're not going to find anything wrong with them. It's just the energetic function of your kidneys as, doing something different in Chinese medicine. So, we're really going to tailor it to you specifically and what your body needs.
Right.
To feel small and look good and feel good. So
completely different diagnostic system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there anything that I didn't ask that you think is really important to add about cosmetic acupuncture? I feel like we've covered a lot of the basics today.
We covered a lot. I just would add that I know a lot of people are concerned about safety right now with COVID, and just so that people might feel a little bit more safe and more comfortable. I use a face shield and wear an N95 when I'm doing the facial acupuncture, so that because I'm going to be working around their face, so that's just a concern that they have. They're just want to make sure that they know that I'm fully covered. And I also have an air purifier in the office right near the head of the acupuncture table, and it filters out particulates and is said to also take out viruses and bacteria from the air. So a lot of people just can rest a little easier knowing that those things are kind of going on in the clinic space, as well as spraying down the surface with all the medical grade cleaners and everything. So I thought I would add that for anybody who was worried about that, given the current climate.
No, I think that's a really, really good point. And that's also helpful with the fires there. So air purifier is very helpful with that. Yeah. Well, where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my company is called Bristlecone Wellness, and you can go to my website, bristleconewellness.com, and that's BRISTLECONE wellness.com. You can also email me, corinne.lohss@bristleconewellness.com, and my name is CORINNE.LOHSS@bristleconewellness.com. For, if you have questions or you just want to find out more about this, if this is a good fit for you, I'm happy to chat and go over everything with you. And yeah, I'd love to help people heal and look as good as possible in a safe, non-invasive, natural way. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, sharing all of your knowledge about cosmetic acupuncture and taking the time. So it's really fun. I think a lot of people could benefit from this.
I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and share this with everyone. So
yes, awesome. All right, well, thank you everybody out there for listening. We are grateful for you two to listen to us. And anyway, remember, if there's something that you want to hear, please either comment on iTunes or YouTube. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching today on the Fearless Health YouTube channel. If you liked what you heard today, remember to subscribe below because we have so much more great information always coming out. And if there's a topic you want to hear about that we haven't released yet, please place that in the comments below and let us know what you want to hear more of in the comments. Or just say hi. We really want to hear from you because we do this for you. So thank you again for watching. Take care. Until the next time.